All right, we are live. It's about 1 minute to 8. I'm just going to go ahead and give this a few more moments. I'm going to click away, and then I will be right back. And I'll just check back, and we'll get started. Credo 1, I'm just going to go ahead and give it a few more moments. All right, it's like 8:04 right now. I'm going to go ahead and get rolling here. All right. Hello, everyone. I hope you had a great Monday and a good weekend. So far, there's only been one question submitted in advance. So if you're listening, please do submit questions if you have them. I have the Q&A portion turned on the side. There is like a minute delay, so it's better to ask early rather than later, but it's on right now. So please do ask if you have a question. So there's one question, and I'll get right to it. The first question comes from Danny, and Danny says that she usually lifts 2 or 3 times per week. In each session, she tries to focus on 2 body parts. So, for example, today she did chest and legs. She did mention that she never really focuses on the specific order between the 2 body groups. She doesn't really care as long as she gets in 5 sets of each. So Danny's asking, should she start ordering them in a specific way? She says that she's thinking if she does the first 5 for, say, chest, exhausts those muscles, and then moves on to the next group, that it would yield better results. All right, so thank you for the question, Danny. I appreciate it. I'd like to preface that answer with the context to the answer itself is going to be weight training. So the information I'm about to give does not really apply to cardio training or boot camp style training. I'm not really a fan of that stuff as far as really worrying about how to progress. So keep that in mind. If you're weight training, I would ask, though, that if you are doing cardio as well, you do it after your weight training and not before. And you'll see the reason why in a moment. All right, so given that I think anyone that's listening to the Hangout has fat loss as a goal, that probably means you're eating at a calorie deficit. So I firmly believe that in that situation, this is where less is actually more. When you enter the gym, a clock basically starts ticking, where despite your best intentions, after an hour, you'll pretty much have done all the best you can do for the most results at the end of that hour. Anything beyond that hour is basically not really helping you and could actually be hindering your goal. So if you're taking longer than an hour to complete the weights portion of your workout is either too unfocused or your training has really taken a toll and depleted you to the point where you need a break, and you're probably not recovering fully. So if you really have a desire to work out in a given day longer than an hour, I'd ask that you limit your workout, specifically your weights workout, to an hour. Focus on getting the most out of that hour. And then beyond that hour, if you wanted to do cardio or conditioning work, anything like that, please do that afterwards. So the first hour is the most important one. Please prioritize your weight training in that hour. So what I usually recommend for most people is that you put the most important exercises first. Specific to your situation, Danny, I'm not really a fan of the split workouts that you mentioned for the very reason that it's difficult to prioritize. Even in that case, I don't think that I would pair chest and legs. As to whichever one of the 2 you do first, the second one kind of becomes accessory work. So I would probably recommend structuring your workouts towards more simplicity and strength over exhaustion. I went over your recent workouts, and I think you would benefit greatly from simply focusing on 3 exercises in your workouts: squat, bench, and deadlift. You could do that 2 or 3 times a week, and essentially what you would do is squat, take a break, bench, take a break, deadlift, take a break. And you could pretty much do that 2 or 3 times a week until you reach a plateau on the strength gains. So I'd either recommend switching your workout to a full body one like that. In this case, you're prioritizing squat over all of the other movements. And this assures that you have enough energy and mental clarity to do the squat with good form and have enough energy to complete your reps. The reason for that is it has the most benefit because your legs are basically 50% of your body. I don't really recommend taking your muscles to exhaustion, especially when you're trying to lose fat. That is really more bodybuilder-oriented training, and in my opinion, not ideal for fat loss. One of the primary reasons for that is that when you are in a calorie deficit, you're putting so much energy towards losing fat, and you're already kind of balancing and walking the fine line of having enough energy to function and still having fat loss happening. So in that particular case, it's really better to kind of focus and have your training be specific to your goal, which is the maintenance of muscle mass and building strength, and also fueling your fat loss. So I think you would get better results from putting your gym time and energy into strength gains over muscle exhaustion, especially in a calorie deficit. An alternative to the full body split uh, would be, or I'm sorry, an alternative to the full body workout would be a specific type of splits, but not the combination splits. And once you've exhausted doing squat, bench, and deadlift 3 days a week, you can't gain any more strength because you cannot recover from doing those exercises 3 times a week. I'd recommend you move to a split that's based on the primary movements as opposed to body parts. So you would have a squat day, a deadlift day, a bench day, and if you wanted to do overhead press, you could have a separate day for that, or you could pair it with the squat day or the deadlift day. So beyond the primary movement, there would be some accessory work that would assist you with that primary movement. So for example, a squat day would be you kind of stretch out, dynamic squat warm up, your warm ups, your sets. You don't really need a lot of sets in a deficit. If your goal is strength, maybe 3 or 4 sets of 6 to 8 reps. You can pyramid the weights down, and what that means is your first set after your warm ups is heaviest, and then you drop the weight by like 10 to 15%, and maybe try to do one more rep, and then you can do that again for the next set. Drop it another 10%. So that way your first set after your warm-ups is the most important set of your entire workout, and you're coming into it fresh. And that way you can give it everything you got, and you're more likely to have better results that way. So after that, let's just say the squat, and you weren't doing overhead press, you could do some leg accessory works like split squats, weighted or body weight. You could do like leg curls, things like that. And a lot of that's going to be helping you recover faster, by getting blood going to those muscles immediately after you're done with squats. And it also gets you stronger in some of the, I don't want to say problem areas, but some of the muscles that may be weaker that your squat isn't hitting yet, that you can kind of bring up. And in doing so, your squat will improve as well. So this actually applies to everyone, that if you wanted some assistance in transitioning to a more focused and goal-oriented training plan, please let me know. I'll be more than happy to kind of guide you towards weight training that is a great return on investment of time. If you're just doing squat, bench, and deadlift 3 times a week, you could be in and out of the gym for 45 minutes and there's no cardio required, and you may see better results for your fat loss. Now, as you know, in the 8-week introductory extreme fat loss course, I don't try to be pushy about any particular routine. I think it's more important to get in the habit of tracking your nutrition first. But once you've gotten those habits solid, where they're kind of in the back of your head and you don't have to think about them too much, focusing on the training aspect, it is important to go through some of the same habits where you need to do things that are the best usage of your time that yield the best results. It's kind of like with diet, switching between fad diets back and forth, where you lose a bunch of weight initially and then you gain it all back and then you switch to the next fad diet. Not having a structured training plan once you've gotten beyond learning the habits around nutrition, a structured training plan can assist you in the same way that having a flexible diet can, so that when you go in the gym, you know exactly what you're going to do. You know what you did last week, so you know what weights you're going to do and how many reps you're going to strive for. And if you fail your structured training plan, you know what to do. If you succeed, you know what to do next week. So it's very structured, and it kind of frees you from having to wander around the gym and figure out what's going on. The only problem you run into is when you have a day dedicated to a lift, is when you have trouble getting to access to that machine. I've been there myself. You see people using a squat cage for things that are not squats. It's kind of annoying. It's one of the primary reasons I switched to a home gym. Last year I was going to school again, and on school nights I wanted to still hit the gym and didn't want to miss it. And I had to deal with that problem all over again. It made me miss my home gym very much so. However, I realize that's not an option for some people. So that can be a problem. There are ways around that. And basically, if you kind of notice patterns, like I think it's Mondays or International Chest Day, where on Mondays, every single person will likely be sitting on a bench doing bench press. So that's probably a good day to do your squats. So, but as I said, if you would like to work with me and get some help moving to a structured workout plan, please let me know. I myself and others I've worked with that are on a structured training plan have achieved their best progress with minimal investment of time. for the past 7 years, I don't think I've worked out more than 3 hours a week, and that includes cardio when I do it. And I've gotten pretty. I mean, I'm not super strong compared to some people, but I'm pretty strong compared to the average person. And I enjoy it. It's not a huge time sink, and it's with simple and short workouts. So, like I said, if anyone is interested in that, please let me know. I'll be happy to work with you on that. I think that pretty much covers your question, Danny. I'm going to switch around real quick and see if there's any questions. But if not, that was the only question that was pre-submitted before the Hangout. All right, I don't see any other questions. Well, I'm sure someone will think of one as soon as I close the Hangout. So please do ask. And I will talk to everyone soon. Have a great night.